Hi, everybody. I'm Liz David from Pinedale Elementary School. I'm going to give you a few examples where we integrate some computer science elements from the national standards. The national standards include 5 major areas: computing systems, networks, data and analysis, algorithms and programming, and impacts of computing on society. So we don't have an all-inclusive program, but we try to integrate pieces from each of these over the course of the 3 years that the kids are in science and STEM, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. One of the first examples I'd like to share with you is our What's the Weather? Hours on Our Friends unit from 3rd grade. They do a lot of data collection and a lot of data analysis using hardware, software, and then look at impacts of computing on a social system, even just within our school. So this is traditional weather data collection, but they also do data collection through an internet site called windy.com, which is a real-time international data site that has a lot of good weather data, and they're able to look at their own home area and also other places that they want to find out from other people that they know. One of the ways we apply that as a societal situation is in our own school. In the morning, this walkway gets really, really cold because the kids tend to use the automatic door opener button, which makes a big wind tunnel. So the 3rd graders come in and measure that using traditional systems, and then they come over and do some digital recording and explanation of what they found. They do additional research through our school's network of school environment, and our maintenance director comes and shows them how the data is collected. And then they come in and do some experiments called Hold That Temp, which is like a thermostat experiment where they are trying to keep a given temperature in the water, and they're using a digital probe in here for a digital thermometer, and it's printing out on a data logging software that they're able to keep track and evaluate their progress. Later, they come in and they do some analysis of their own results, and the best part, they make these videos, or sometimes they just make posters giving advice to our school kids to please close the doors. 4th graders do another energy-related experiment as one of their units, starting off with a project called Turn on the Lights. They go and just use normal batteries, light bulbs, wires, and circuitry work. But then they do some online work with modeling through the PhET simulations through the University of Colorado's website called PhET. And this one is on static electricity. And over here, they build and design and change and evaluate circuits with this online modeling system. Then they turn it into a building experiment with some kits that we have, and they build these hand crank generators using online instructions. They hook them up to a light board and a sound board and see the exchange of energy through this system. Later, they go on and use more data analysis to see the impact by seeing through this wind turbine hooked up digitally to their data recorder, their data logger, how much electricity they're actually able to generate at different wind speeds. The other thing that 4th graders do that involves some of the computer science components is they have an experiment called Evidence of a Collision. And in this one, they've built some collision cars. They're doing an experiment, but they're able to upgrade their evaluation of this and their analysis by using an app on the iPads called Slow Pro, just a slow motion app. They video each other, and then they're able to come in and analyze the video footage screen by screen to try and decide which is the best part of the evidence of the impact when you have a head-on collision like that. They take this even further with a little digital analysis and data modeling back on PhET. Again, with this one is a skateboard guy, and they can change all kinds of variables in here. The fifth graders, in a different type of unit, they also use a lot of computer science components. But in this ecosystem unit, one is we access aerial photos through Google Earth of their ecosystem that they study all fall. They come in then, and after they've done a lot of collection on streamflow, the biotic component of the ecosystem, and a new aspect, the bridge, and how that's changing the streamflow. They come in and organize their data and organize their thoughts and their presentation using an app on our tablets called Poplet. And this allows them to use their own photos that they've taken, organize, they can color code, they can do whatever they feel is an effective communication piece using this software. The fifth graders later take that same Barber Creek ecosystem, and we back out and do a little chemistry work on pH levels. So they're using similar setup that the third graders did for temperature, but the fifth graders are doing it with pH. So they come in and study a lot of different substances as their background work to see what pH patterns they get. Then they're able to take Barber Creek water and other simulated water that I bring in for them to determine, is that safe for the ecosystem from a pH component. They do some presentations about it. They share ideas. And in this screen, you can see the transition between very generalized testing with an indicator, second with a quantified indicator, pH paper, and then they're comparing it to their digital data that's being data logged for them in our probeware and software. Fifth graders also do some digital and computer science work with algorithms. They first construct some robots out of some kits we have. They use the same construction app that the fourth graders used for their cars, but these kids now, the fifth graders, are doing it with this robotic kit. Then they come out and they change the programming in order to address some problems that would be well served with robotics. So they're working again on the devices, hardware, software, and now we've been able to add algorithms and programming into the integration. Here the girls are trying to program their robot to come up, get a piece of toxic waste, and move it forward into this toxic storage zone, all just with programming without using the remote control. For all three grade levels, I really love the programming tutorials that we've been able to get through Hour of Code and others. And several of the things I like about this, one of the most, is that it encourages collaboration and having fun with the challenge. Kids want to know, when can we do code? When can we do code? They love it. It also develops persistence, troubleshooting. Sometimes individuals have to sit and study. It takes some kids a lot longer to figure out the sequencing and the patterning involved in coding. The other thing I like is that it combines a big picture view with an overall challenge, but also very attentive to detail in order to have a successful solution to the challenge. One of the most important things in all schools is that it's accessible by all. Kids can do this without reading. Kids can do this with very little verbal language. The tutorials that have been developed that we've used allow kids of all levels, and quite a few different interest topics are available for this in Hour of Code and more. To me, the very most important part of education is that it transitions to home, it transitions to their everyday life, transitions out into the community. That way it sticks with them and they have lifetime learning successes. So these are, again, the 5 areas through the computer science standards. that we feel in our science program, although it's not a complete computer science program, we're able to bolster and support computer science through our science and STEM classes. Thank you very much.